Hey there. Although I am involved with CADAC, the Center of ADHD Awareness Canada, the views and opinions expressed in this episode are those of the participants and do not reflect those of CADAC. And now, cue the music.
This is the Impulsive Thinker Podcast, a show for high-achieving ADHD entrepreneurs. Together, we will inform and educate you about how to improve your self-awareness while developing systems, routines, and habits for conquering the entrepreneurial world. Here is your host, André Brisson.
Hey there, it's André here with another short for the Impulsive Thinker Podcast, the podcast for the high-achieving ADHD entrepreneur. This episode is brought to you by CADAC, the Center of ADHD Awareness Canada. You can get more information and you can donate at www.caddac.ca. I just wanted to share with you the recent experience of building my ADHD-Safe office. A few years ago, when I had to rebrand the engineering company from Jade Engineers to Objective Engineering, we were actually in a different town, different space, and we moved to a different town, and it's an open office space, open concept. And I thought, I'll make it work. I think it'll work. Well, let me tell you, it's not. It wasn't. It was very hard for me to stay focused. It was very hard for me not to distract others. It was very hard for others not to distract me. Not that they were attempting to distract me. I almost got involved in every conversation that was going on because I was bored with what I was doing, and I would go over, infuse myself in there. And I thought it was working. And then when COVID hit, that's when the Zoom calls really opened up. So I couldn't do that kind of stuff. Or when I started the podcast, recording the podcast, I couldn't do it in the open office. So I'd actually take a corner in the lunchroom, had everything set up there that I could. But that means I closed off the lunchroom to everyone else. And with the amount of Zoom calls was going on, I'd spend a lot of days there. Now, the other challenge with that was I'd have to take my laptop from my main desk to go to that corner, set everything up, and then dismantle and come back. You know, when you do that shift, that wasn't a good transition because I never got everything ended. And, you know, then all of a sudden it was like 3 days later, I had to do this, I do that because I didn't have the proper ending and transition to the next step. But just that moving around, taking the space for everyone. I said, it's not working. It's not working. It's not going to get better. Even though I convinced myself it was going to get better, but after 2 years, I'm like, no, it's not working. But I know it worked well in the other office space we had. So what was different? What worked over there, and why is it not working here? Is it different systems in place? Is it, how to communicate differently? But in the end, what it was, I had walls around me. Being open office concept, I had no walls around me. I can hear conversations. I can go interrupt others. I can be interrupted at any time. I had to physically move locations to do different tasks that should not be requiring me to reset up everything. So what happened was in the other place, we had an open office concept. I moved myself into a separate office because I thought, this is how I convinced myself. If I have a separate office, I will distract them less. I will distract my team less. That's what I convinced myself. But in reality, it was me moving a separate office so I wouldn't be distracted. So they wouldn't distract me. Not that they were intending to distract me. It was me to physically move myself away from the distractions so I can be in my own space and be able to focus and just do my thing. And then we had the rule, like if I was in my office, it had to be important to interrupt me, or unless it was a scheduled appointment. At times, I'd actually go plant myself in the open office space at a meeting table in a conference room. And if I was there, can be interrupted anytime. That was permission for everyone to just say, hey, do you have a minute? I had it already in my mind. I could be interrupted anytime, and I wasn't working on anything that I would get into a hyper focus. My ADHD office space also was my hyper focus space. For that, I built up the 2 walls. Now I'm in the room in the new office space. All right. I moved in. There's already a desk in the space. The desk is here. It's already becoming a mess pile. So that desk has to come out. So right now, I don't have a lot. I got 4 walls. One has a big 4-foot by 8-foot whiteboard, which is great. Whatever thoughts I can put there is there. My desk actually has a whiteboard on the return, so I can't pack as much, pile it, so I can use my notes. I got another whiteboard so I can see my goals and active projects online. That's what I have right now. And I need one clear white space here on the wall so I can put up these big Post-it notes, the big presentation size papers, Post-it notes, so I can just do random thinking in that. Now, why don't I have anything on the walls? Why don't I want this desk with all my books and references? Because they're distractions. That's going to move out. So basically what I have is a desk with Very little. I got pens and papers. Everything I use every day, no matter what, is on my desk. Everything I don't use every day, folders, project folders, books, mail, is all outside of my desk on a hutch. Okay, why? All I do is bring what I need to work on at the time on that one project or task. Nothing else. Why? Everything else is distraction. I'm looking at the desk right now. Oh, I know I got to do that. Man, I got to organize those things so I can find them later. But I can't sit here. Like, I'm being distracted right now doing this episode. I'm seeing the mess. It's getting me overwhelmed. So I got to move that out. Right now, I just got to clear that desk. Physically don't have a place to put it in the office yet. I'm just going to clear all that stuff out so I don't see it day to day. And I'm going to have a couple shelves to put a couple models of stuff that's pleasing to the eye, but I'm not going to have anything to store here. Even books that I love to read, I'm going to use as reference. It can't be here. Like, I got a book here right now, and it's always, I can see it. I'm going to thumb through. Oh, things are highlighted. Oh, what did I read? It was ADHD because we're unbelievably adept. Like, that's why I decided to create my own ADHD-Safe office. Only have the things that I need to work on here, bring it out, and then the team member brings all the stuff that's required for me to work on. Very little on the wall. There's going to be no surface that I can pile up crap. Even, I don't even want a lateral cabinet or a filing cabinet in here because it's still a distraction. There's still something in there. If I don't see it, I can work. How is your office space? How are you set up? And the thing is, for me, I also discovered I need different physicalities. Like I said, if I can be interrupted any time, I go plant myself in the middle of the office and I sit there and I do other things. I read, I learn, or whatever. But now everyone knows that I can be interrupted. They know when I'm in the office, it better be a good reason, because 9 times out of 10, I'm in hyper focus. Other times, if I just need to be moving, I'll leave the office physically. Because if I'm bored in my ADHD-Safe office, I'm still going to go out and distract. So I'm best to leave and be available for my team by phone. So these are all those strategies to minimize me being distracted. And basically, I have a hyper-focus room. Now, if I have an idea for a short, I can just close that door right now, pull the microphone over the desk, hit record, and talk. I don't have to dismantle my laptop, bring it to the lunchroom, set up that whole space to be able to record. Because you know how our brain is. Oh, that good idea is gone. So these are little things. It's a creative space. It's set up for me to be creative without having to delay too much. At the same time, minimizing any physical distractions. Also, having things in front of me like goals and long-term projects are always visible that can be seen, but it's not disrupting or distracting me. Like, it's not something on the whiteboard. It's not saying, hey, I can pull off and read it, right? They're all reminders. Things are visible. If they're not visible, our ADHD brain just forgets about it. That's a reality. Right now, I'm looking at my whiteboard. I got to train a new guy that just started here in the engineering company. Things I got to talk about Monday. Instead of emailing, I just put it on the whiteboard. It'll be there on Monday. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to try and remember it, but I'm not going to forget it because it's there. And then actually, now I'm thinking about it a lot. I'm going to tell him to come in. See that? I need you to put that in your notebooks so that when we talk Monday, these things will be touched. Now I just delegated my remembering to him so that he can remind me what we need to discuss. I hope this little ADHD-Safe office concept of mine is helpful or makes you realize, I know this won't work for everyone. The way I have mine set up is not going to work for everyone. There'll be some modifications. But do you have an ADHD-Safe space to work where you can just go down, hyper-focus whenever you want, that's got minimal distractions, that you can actually do a lot of good work, and it's separate from everyone? And it's very, very important for us to know that our brain needs that. We need physical separation. We need physical relocation. We need physical cues to tell our body and brain that we're in a position safe that we can sit down and hyper-focus. I want to hear more about your office space or how you set up how to work effectively. And send it to me at questions@theimpulsivethinker.com or all on the social media. I hope this was helpful. Please share this with 2 or 3 people. Please give us a rating, send comments down on the podcast page or via our website. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening to the Impulsive Thinker podcast. If you have a question, comment, or suggestion for the show, please visit theimpulsivethinker.com. The Impulsive Thinker podcast is produced by Tactical Breakthroughs and hosted by André. Remember, ADHD is only a part of you, not all of you.